It's July 16th, 2025. I am at Joel Pearl, thejoelpearl.com over on Blue Sky, and it's time to get in the weeds where the takes don't matter and neither do the points. But they do when you're going for XP points. I see you, chat. It's a lovely Wednesday, a wonderful one. It's nice and sunny here in Toronto. It's hot as hell. I don't like it anymore. I want to be able to get outside longer without worrying about how bloody hot it is and sweating through everything and feeling like I'm going to pass out if I don't drink a gallon of water. Damn it. Feel like I'm Bill Goldberg. I'm just mad, but I can't talk about it for 2 more weeks. Jeremy Lambert's here. He'll talk about it right now. How you doing, pal?
I'm well. I'm here. A busy day again. Never stops. We just keep going.
Keep on grinding, pal.
Yeah.
What are we grinding today?
I don't know. Candice Michelle's calling out Michael Cole. Fair. And then Tony Khan's doing interviews. Everything's great, I'm sure. And Seth Rollins is hosting Rich Eisen's show at 12 o'clock. We'll see if he does or doesn't say anything.
It's not a call-in show, is it?
Eisen's show typically is, yeah.
Oh, interesting. That's interesting. You should call in and say, Seth.
Probably gonna have to wait, but sure.
Big fan. Love your work. Don't ask me where I got this information from, but you're a big fat faker, Seth Rollins. And he'll be like, whoa, what are you talking about? He'll be like, those Bears, they're not that great. He'll be like, whoa, what are you talking about? He'll be like, you can't win the big one. And he'll be like, all right, we're hanging up on this guy. And then see if that gets him on a 20-minute diatribe.
I don't want to upset the man. I like Seth.
What's the worst that could happen? He gets upset, says some things on the internet talk show. Wait, are they syndicated? Is he ESPN radio?
I'm pretty sure they air on Eisen's on Peacock, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that's much worse.
Yeah.
So you should definitely do it, is really what I'm getting to.
Nah, I like Seth.
Well, you can like him, but you can also hold him to a journalistic standard.
Becky's going to be on the show as well. That'll be fun.
Just don't call her Becky Hogan.
She's playing into that. I don't think she cares at this point.
I'm glad she did. The Dynamite before All In. You saw what I sent to you both? Mercedes was wearing the red and yellow. I saw it. I saw her tip of the cap.
Yes, Becky was much more blatant about it.
Which is what I expected. The only thing she wasn't wearing was a boa.
Yeah, that might be coming next.
I would laugh. Her next outfit is just normal colors, but then she's wearing the boas. No, she's acknowledging it. She should acknowledge it. It's a ridiculous allegation. It's silly shit. But I know Seth is doing the Rich Eisen show. We talked offline about staying on to see if he addresses his situation. But to be honest, I said we did Monday. We went very long. And today feels like if we do it, we're going to be dragging just to see if he says something that I don't think he's going to say. I think that whatever the situation is regarding Seth and this injury, non-injury, whatever you want, whatever reports you're listening to, I don't think he's going to address it. I think he is going to do his best to stay out of addressing it and leave it as a big nebulous affair.
I feel like he's going to have to address something because they've addressed something. It could just be as simple as we don't have information yet. And that's still addressing it. Like,
yes.
Who knows? But he's going to be there in crutches, allegedly. He was there in crutches at Evolution. So he's probably going to be showing up with crutches. And that's kind of an elephant in the room of like, hey, Seth, why's your knee bandaged up and crutches? Every time he does these interviews or appearances, he's very forthright in what he says. So maybe he's not going to go into full detail because they're protecting a storyline, or maybe you will say like, yeah, I'm out for 10 months.
There's a sentiment out there when it comes to this injury talk story. And again, we can only go by what we've been told, and we can only discuss what others have said on their shows and their reporting. The idea here from a storyline context is that there might be a legitimate injury, but it's not as bad as they are leading us to believe. They might play it up as bigger. And then you get into the actual storyline, which is CM Punk on Monday won the gauntlet. He's going to challenge Gunther. And what was the Seth Rollins storyline throughout the entire CM Punk era that he's been back? It's that I'm going to do my best to ensure that CM Punk does not win a world championship. Well, CM Punk's going for a world championship, and after he went for the last one in Saudi Arabia, who came out and cost him the title? Well, I mean, John Cena did, but at the same time, Seth came out. This time you can do the cash in at SummerSlam. He wins the title, and it's a bigger shock because it's a bigger cash in than the one he did at WrestleMania 31, and it's the big deal, and it's the big cash in, and he came back so fast, even though he said he was injured and blah, blah, blah. That's kind of there's not a prevailing sentiment, but that is a very common one that's going around there. And honestly, I kind of subscribe closer to that one than anything else. Do I believe he's injured in some way? Sure. I think all these wrestlers are hurting all the time in some way, shape, or form. The severity is what's in question at this point. And maybe he'll say something, or maybe he won't. Someone in the chat saying have him cash in on crutches. He might just show up with the crutches and then just crack someone over the head with them. Easy as that. Let that be the story.
Yeah. I don't know how injured he is or isn't. I think if it's a storyline, depending on how they pull it off, it could be well done. If they're trying to work everybody, like, all right, you want to work the fans, you want to work the online stuff. I've never minded any of that. I don't like when they act like it's a work when it wasn't. That's very stupid. But if you are trying to legitimately work people, okay. As long as the right people are clued in, then that's what matters. Like, I think there can be a detriment to trying to work people in the back, but if it's something like an injury and not a release, obviously much better optics there of like, oh, let's try to work a release. That doesn't go too well. But if you're trying to work people with an injury, all right, like, it's part of wrestling, you know? Working people with injuries has been a long-standing tradition in wrestling. So I don't fully mind that.
You know, with someone in the chat saying Triple H said it was really bad. Well, Triple H wasn't asked about it. He did something that he typically doesn't do, and that is address the situation head on. And that is something that kind of raised the eyebrows of a lot of people who report on this stuff. The other side is, you know, are you enjoying the show? The show's really fun, huh? That's the other thing. Is I don't know why he suddenly sounds like a younger Stu Hart in my impression of him, but he just is. Do you get some time for that big rhino over it? Sorry. So he just could be doing are you enjoying the show? Go enjoy the show. And as for like who Seth Rollins was scheduled to face at SummerSlam, well, you can say it was Roman, but you don't know, and neither do people who were reporting on it. There's an assumption that he was, given story, but like we didn't know because we never got there. So again, if it's a work, cool. All right, sure. If this is him doing are you enjoying the show, I think it's going to lose some people's. I think some people are just going to be a little soured on it if they're reporting, you know, or if they're in the reporting game, just because it's silly to do that with injury. But if more people are let in, then it won't be. I think it softens the blow if more people are let in on what's really going on. But in the moment, the idea was he's injured.
I mean, we could ask people who we could ask Sean if he would be soured on it. I don't know. To me, like, if you want to work an injury, again, I don't see an issue with it. Like, it's part of wrestling. All right, work the injury to pay off CM Punk thinking he's in the clear and not going to be cashed in on, and then he gets cashed in on, and it was all a work. As long as the right people are clued in and you don't upset people that you got to work with every single day, then I don't see the big deal. I don't think WWE cares about, I mean, I know they don't really care about how the internet feels about them and how the reporting goes on things. So if, you know, Sean, Mike, Dave, all these people are mad about, oh, how could they do this? How could they work? They're probably like, well, we did our jobs then. If you guys are mad about this and you guys didn't have some information on something, we did our jobs.
So yeah, I think that's a fair statement. I think the idea is using an injury and kayfabing the locker room. That's where people would be a little upset about this, and that's more internal than external. But it all plays out because the internal then goes to the external and says, "Well, we weren't told anything," and that's not fair. Or that's a shitty thing to do. You know, that unraveled TNA at one point with Dixie and injuries. So I don't know what to expect. People in the chat are saying, working injuries are fine, but they got to be done properly, and I agree with that. So we'll see where it plays out. I'm of the mindset that they're working in between the lines. An injury could be real. The severity of it could be what's in question, and how that plays out could easily become the story of SummerSlam and what happens between Gunther and CM Punk in the main event, and just as much Roman and whatever he's going to be involved in, because he came back, and I assume he's going towards a tag match at this point, given that he and Jimmy made friends, and we could be seeing Jay involved. Sorry, was it Jay? You're right. I was thinking about Jimmy because I was thinking of Naomi moving over to Raw, and I was like, well, you can bring Jimmy over there now, blah, blah, blah. So, you got Jay and Roman being friendlies. So do you do a 6-man tag? Do you do a tag team match? Like, what's going on in the Roman verse? That's the whole other shebang.
How are you doing a 6-man tag if Seth is out?
I don't know. Becky?
For the other side.
Becky works twice, brother. No, I don't know. Maybe there is someone who joins that team. Maybe it's, I don't know. I was going to say maybe it's Ricky Saints, but who knows?
I think it was possible it was going to be a 6-man with Seth, Braun, and Bronson against Roman, Jay, and Sammy. I don't think it was going to be Jimmy, because I think Jimmy is doing his own thing in the solo verse on SmackDown, while Sammy is very part of this group. And look, it could still be a 6-man with Cross as the 3rd man, brother, and then Sammy is the 3rd man on the other side. But Sammy, was taken out by Bronson, Braun speared him, and Sammy was out indefinitely. So it could have 100% been Sammy is the 6th man, or as the 3rd man in the 6-man, with Seth on the other side. And now maybe they rearrange it to do Cross and Sammy still as a 6-man. I think it's probably going to be a tag team match with just Jay and Roman against Braun and Bronson.
Yeah, and maybe Seth's in their corner and he's just there, or maybe he's not. Maybe they just play it off as he's not here all night, or he's on his crutches, whatever. We'll see. They got 2 weeks to get there. That's the thing.
I think if you're working, you don't have him out there, because then you call attention to the fact that he's out there.
Yes.
And I think if it's a legit injury, you probably don't have him out there either, because then you don't really want to keep him on television and moving around. That just doesn't seem practical coming off of an injury. Just rest, stay home, ice up, son, and get your rest in.
See how it plays out. I mean, I know you and SB3 had a long discussion. Did I watch it? No, I didn't. Watch it.
You don't know if we had a long discussion, because we really didn't.
Why didn't you? This explains a lot.
On the Seth injury, like we didn't talk too much about it.
This is why I can't trust you people to do a show on Tuesdays and Thursdays anymore. Meanwhile, I got SB3 being like, "Hey, you want to come and do my TNA preview?" And I was just like, "Yeah, I'll do yours. Yours is the only channel that I'll do TNA previews outside of Fightful 4. But you can't talk about Raw on a Tuesday, can you? This is what this morning show was all about."
We talked about Seth's injury enough. There wasn't much of an update. Like, it was, hey, we mainly talked about, I think Becky should lead the group now if Seth is going to be out.
Sorry, I've been asked to clarify. I meant you wrestling people. This is not a gender or race specific people. It was wrestling people. You wrestling fan people. Speaking of which, wrestling fan people, leave a thumbs up on the video if you haven't already. We know how much you love this show and how much you want to tell your friends about it. Everyone's praising us these days because Blake Christian had a great interview and nobody believes that he was actually going to be Axiom. But while you're leaving the thumbs up, think about that statement and maybe we'll talk about it. And also, you can subscribe to the channel. It's free. It supports us. We love it. If you want to support us financially, we always love that too. You can donate a super chat. Any amount, get your question or statement read on the air. And of course, we have the XP program, baby. I'm not talking about Windows XP. They discontinued that a long time ago, except for like the super duper pro server edition, I think. Anyway, XP points. The end of this month, as is with every month, the person in our chat with the highest amount of XP points gets a cameo. The cameo is from the impeccable Brian Alvarez. That Brian Alvarez. Will it be in sync? We don't know. Will it be long? We don't know. Will he say nice things about you? Probably not.
Well, it depends on what we ask for.
That is true. I'm much happier when he kind of wrecks the people. Although I do like Xeno Hour, so it's fine. At the same time, if you are in our chat and you're commenting, that gives you XP points and that gets you a little bit closer. By the end of the month, we'll know who numbers 1, 2, and 3 are. Number 1 gets the cameo. Number 2 and 3 get to complain how they didn't comment enough or how it's rigged. It might be rigged. I don't know. YouTube is weird. But go ahead, get in on the XP program.
I don't think it's rigged in that like we're doing it. I think it's rigged in it. I don't know how it fully works.
See, that's how I feel. Everyone's saying this seems rigged. I get it. Rigged. This seems rigged. It's rigged. I rigged it. Joel rigs it. I think it's Scotty rigged, but that's just me.
Oh, okay.
How's he doing? We saw him have his resurgence, and is he working? He's working with AEW, isn't he?
I think he was at one point.
He was doing some work with them. I hope he's doing okay. I liked watching him come back from everything. You guys had him on the spotlight last year.
Yeah,
it was a good interview. Anyway, just very quickly on the Blake Christian thing. I saw some people who took the aggregation about the Axiom revelation, as I like to call it. Some people were saying, "Oh, I thought that was Deonna Purrazzo who pitched that." So more than one person can pitch certain elements of a character, is how I want to put this. The pitch that Deonna made was specifically regarding the flashing equations going across the screen. That was Deonna's thing. That's what she had pitched. She didn't pitch the superhero gimmick. That was the Blake pitch. The presentation, that was part of Deonna's pitch. I don't know where this got all confused by people, but it apparently did. And I don't like you calling our people liars. I mean, they're wrestlers, so inherently they are lying, but this is not one of those things, in my opinion.
It's not even that Blake fully pitched this. It was they were setting up some type of superhero thing. He kind of put it together of, okay, this is what I think it should be. I think it should look like. And then it didn't come to fruition because he was released. And then 7 months later, Axiom debuted. So clearly they had it on the shelf for a little while, and they just gave it to a kid. I don't think this was like his, hey, let me be Axiom type of thing. I think it was, we want you to be a superhero. What do you got? And he's like, here's what I got. And then lo and behold, 7 months later, it's somebody else who is that character. That happens all the time in wrestling. It happens way more often than you think it does. And it happens a lot if you, again, listen to a lot of these interviews where a lot of these wrestlers who are like, yeah, I pitched this idea, or I had this idea, didn't happen. 3 months later, it happened for this person. They did it very similar for this person, or they did the exact same thing that I pitched for this person. It's not an uncommon thing. I don't know why. I mean, I do, but I don't understand why people are so shocked or so dismissive of the idea that they had this role potentially tabbed for Blake. He got released. They shelved it for a little while, and then they gave the role to somebody else. Again, they do this all the time of, hey, one person pitches an idea. I want to play this character. They're not able to play that character. Something happens. They get a different character. They unfortunately get released. Or they're still there. Hey, let's give this character to somebody else. It happens all the time. It's not that big of a deal.
It really isn't. And the amount of people, can we talk about real quick how uncreative people are? That the number one thing I kept seeing was people saying the words dodged a bullet over and over. I saw dodged a bullet on every other reply to that particular piece of engagement. Like, holy shit, people find a different saying. I promise it's not that hard. And I don't think anyone dodged anything. I think if anything, they just had a revelation. Good times though. Great interview. Go check it out. It's getting some traction. People are finding it as they should with all of our stuff. It reinvigorated me, Jeremy. Not to the point where I'm going to go to New York for SummerSlam or for TNA. Cresta's going to Slammiversary instead. She decided that she's going to go. Yeah,
it's
getting
good for her.
Yeah, she'll enjoy it. She wanted to go. She was talking about going, and then she told me today that she's going. So it's going to be Jensen and I for the post show on Sunday night. Have fun with that. It means that the show won't go an hour and a half. We can do a tight 60 minutes and be done by midnight, which is nice. That's not a knock at Cresta. It's just when you put 3 people on the screen, 3 people have to get their opinions off, and you just got to keep going and going until the wheels come off. So it'll be me and Jensen 1-1. It'll be fun. Going to be a busy show, but instead, actually, I think I'm going to C4 for the first time in August. They do their annual Fighting Back show, which is their cancer research benefit, started by Evil Uno and the guys at C4. And this time I noticed that it is mid-August, which is a good time, and Greektown Wrestling in Toronto runs the next day. Danhausen's on both shows, and there will be other talent from AEW and from other crossings of the indies that will be on both shows. So I figured maybe I'll do the loop and get some content for y'all. I've been talking to the folks at C4 about that, and with Greektown, honestly, I just show up with the camera and they just say, go wherever you want. Wherever I want, by the way, typically the kitchen of the church. Oh. There are very few places to shoot in that venue. They do a good job of packing it up, but there's one big room for the wrestlers to change. There's like a hallway that's always busy with people coming in and out. And then there's the kitchen where some people come in, but not many. So if you've ever seen an interview in a kitchen, that's at Greektown, and Tim's behind the camera. I convinced Tim to come to Greektown for that show.
Oh, I feel bad for Tim.
Well, it's been a year since he and I have seen each other face to face. So I figured I'd, see him face to face. He's like, give me a month's notice. I'm like, I'm giving you 1 month's notice. Let's go to Greektown. He's like, all right. That should be fun. Get some content, get some interviews, get some people talking to us, which will be a good time. Someone saying, will Cresta or Kate go to SummerSlam? Sean is going for media. I don't think he's staying for the shows, but I don't know who's going to SummerSlam in the box, if anyone from our team. I think it's just a show that's happening. Are you gonna go to SummerSlam again?
No.
Like you gotta
because it was 45 minutes away. It's not 45 minutes away. I'm not going.
Well, I mean, this time you got to complete the story. You got to finish your story. You saw Jelly Roll do the song. Yeah. Now you got to see him wrestle in the ring. It's time, Jeremy. You saw him live in person, like 300 pounds heavier, and now you're going to see him that much lighter going and being in a tag team match, and he's going to get his head kicked off and probably do a choke slam as like his finisher.
Yeah, he's probably going to have plenty to say.
Do you think so?
I mean, plenty to do.
Oh, that's better.
I think he's going to do plenty.
I hope he doesn't cut any promos. I hope he just shows up once and that's it. And then on the go home, drives his car up to the front of the building and says, tries to tease some beating up, doesn't happen, and then goes 15 minutes in the main event, and then gets cut off when he tries to give a victory speech. Should we talk about it?
They have more respect for Jelly Roll than that.
Oh, of course, because Jelly Roll's bringing in some big bucks. People saying in the chat, Joel has to prove to us he has friends. I don't have friends. I just don't.
His other friend named Joel that we're still not convinced is a real person.
He's a real person. Unfortunately, he lives in the city that I don't like to go to, so I'm not going. He's in Hamilton.
Allegedly.
He exists, but he's in Hamilton.
Yeah.
Maybe I think I'm going to London for Dynamite before, not UK, London, Ontario before All Out. I think that's the plan. Stop singing the songs, SP3. Stop singing the Jelly Roll songs.
SP3 did a good job. That was a good rendition. Maybe he'll know the lyrics on Thursday, but it popped me that he didn't know the lyrics. It was much funnier.
Oh, that's good stuff. All right. Yeah, I don't have family either. I got a wife and a kid and my mom. I got siblings. Anyway, that's as much lore as you get from me. Goldberg's pissed, Jeremy.
Yeah, this ruled.
he was not. So he's on Ariel Helwani Show, and he did about 35, 40-minute interview.
Yeah, 45.
And throughout the entirety of the interview, the only thing I can think about, other than what he's saying, is this man never looks directly at the camera unless Ariel's asking a question in split screen. The rest of the time, he's looking everywhere, but it's like he wants to just smash something. He's he's going through it during the interview. I'm not going to be like he's like a raging bull.
I barely look at the
he's
camera
annoyed.
when I'm talking. I don't begrudge him for that. That's just, you know,
Your head's facing.
ADHD brain right there.
You're at least facing a camera. He's like off this way. It's like he's got a camera here, but he's looking over here. Maybe the screen is over here that he's actually the monitor. But just the way that he's talking about it, it was very strange. Let's start off first of all with the 2 weeks comment. So he says that he's pissed off and he'll talk about it in about 2 weeks. And in my brain, I'm like, break his silence in 2 weeks just means he's going to do a podcast that he drops about it.
Yeah, he's going to do his car cast, I assume, is where he's going to talk about it.
Yeah, and I'm guessing that that's going to happen in 2 weeks. It's not, I don't think it's necessarily an NDA. Someone saying contract possibly expires in 2 weeks. That's also maybe a thing. But I chalked it up to he's going to do it on his show, not somebody else's. He wants his cut of the pie because that's Goldberg.
I don't know what the reasoning is. If that's the case, then like, why agree to this? Because he still said plenty here. So what's he gonna say in 2 weeks? Like, if this is what he said here, can't imagine what he's gonna say in 2 weeks. I think it was just more. He's just gonna say it on his podcast, and maybe it is something where it is a contract thing, and he didn't want to say or couldn't say as much as he would have liked to because he's still under some type of contract. Because 2 weeks would basically put you at the end of July. So it's very possible that he has a deal with WWE that technically doesn't expire until the end of July. And he's waiting until that does expire to really say things.
I assume he's going to go into the depths of how this came together, what he really wanted, when he wanted to do it, and who he wanted to do it with. I'm assuming Gunther was not his first choice. I'm assuming, well, I mean, he said it himself. He didn't really want to do it at Saturday Night's Main Event. He wanted a PLE match, and he expected more from a build standpoint, which Goldberg is a storytelling guy. This is the one thing I understand people who are like, oh, he's so entitled. He's being this, he's being that. There's three things about Goldberg. One, he does take this shit seriously when it comes to his brand. Almost to a disturbing point. Two, he's very business oriented. He does not give a shit about anything but the money he's making. And number three, the story he's telling. So those three things have to come in together for him to want to do it. I don't know what happened, and he'll probably tell you what he expected and what he wanted. And instead he got what he got. And I think he expected something better, but they said, well, this is what we have. And we're in Atlanta and we're doing this for you. And he was kind of put into the position to have to take it.
That's where I'm at on things is this was the offer, take it or leave it. And he's like, well, I want to do a retirement match. I guess I'll take it. Hopefully it comes together well. Because you got to remember, they set up this angle in October of last year. That was Bad Blood. October of last year. They announced his retirement match in November of last year. So plans were well in place between October and November of what was going to happen. They shot the angle in October, pretty much telling you, hey, Gunther and Goldberg's happening at some point. They told you the retirement match was going to happen in November. That's when they announced it. It's like, okay, well, they're probably doing Gunther and Goldberg. That's the angle they shot up. Cool. But then they didn't announce like anything for months. And we all speculated it was Saturday night's main event in Atlanta. It all made a whole lot of sense. And that's when it was, but that was like never fully confirmed. And I mean, he mentioned the 3 weeks. I don't remember the exact time of when they confirmed it, but it was pretty close to that because they didn't touch on this match at all until Gunther got the title back, which was right after Night of Champions, right? Or no, before Night of Champions, right after Money in the Bank was the pay-per-view. So that's when Gunther got the title back. And then they started setting up the Goldberg match. And Money in the Bank was first weekend in June. Gunther won the title that week, that Monday. So the following week, yeah, it was about 3 weeks with, hey, you know you're getting Goldberg and Gunther at Saturday night's main event, but it was practically a 3-week build on this thing. We all saw the date. We all figured, okay, that's Goldberg's last match. But they had other plans in place as far as what they were doing with the World Heavyweight title, and that was give Jey Uso a run until Gunther got it back after Money in the Bank. And so they couldn't fully announce that match, that it was going to be Goldberg and Gunther at Saturday night's main event. I don't blame them for being pissed, honestly. Like, say what you will about Goldberg. You mentioned it. He takes it very seriously. Is that a good or a bad thing? I think in this case, it can be a good thing. It's his retirement match. Like, you can't cut the guy off 28 seconds after the speech. And you got to plan for these things. This is why he wanted it to be a PLE, because you can have kind of unlimited time. Yes, NBC, Peacock, NBC certainly has a hard out at 10 o'clock, like they do. As Goldberg said, you know it's live TV. You know you have a hard out at 10 o'clock. Arrange things to where you still get more than 28 seconds. Seth and LA Knight may have gotten cut short. That match was done by 9:30, Seth and LA Knight. Goldberg went about 14 minutes. Intros, everything. They got commercials. Rearrange things. Figure it out. But you got to find a way to give the guy more than 28 seconds. And he mentioned that they mentioned to him, oh, we're going to post it online. This was beforehand. So in his mind, he already knows he's getting cut off because they want to put this thing online. Like, okay, if you know you're going to get cut off, then you're basically being set up of, yeah, you can do your retirement speech, but we're not going to show the whole thing on NBC. We'll post it online, though. That's where you get a bunch of views. And it did get a bunch of views. But if I'm him, I'm pissed about that. I'm like, wait a second. You're going to let me speak, but you're going to cut me off at some point just to put it online. Why? That doesn't help. Like, this should be aired overall. It wasn't good. SB3 and I, me and you, Joel, like, we talked about the build up to this. The build wasn't good. They did 3 weeks. Goldberg came out. He punched Gunther. All right, fine. But they didn't give Goldberg the magnitude of retirement that he honestly probably deserved. I mean, look, I get there are people who, I mean, Ten Ruse is already in our chat. He's an AEW guy, but who cares with Goldberg? Hangman is the champ in future. Like, we'll talk about Hangman and Dynamite and everything later. I understand if you don't care about Goldberg. I get it in 2025. If you weren't there during the Monday Night Wars and you don't know how popular Bill Goldberg was, remove yourself, respectfully. Remove yourself. Goldberg was the top guy during the Monday Night Wars. His popularity was right there with Austin and The Rock. Right there. And yeah, was it short-lived? Sure. But it was right there with them. Not many people reach that kind of peak in the world of wrestling. And Goldberg reached that peak.
There's another side to that too. Goldberg was doing it at a time where the company he worked for was full of like wrestling politicians, people who had been in the business deeply entrenched for years, not generations, but definitely decades. And he came in, brand new guy, coming off the NFL, and he was getting pushed hard. You think the politicians like that? They hated it. Bill was mistreated backstage throughout his entire WCW run. He was given all the accolades and given all the opportunities, but nobody saw him as deserving. And as a result, that soured him on wrestling, but he knew he was making the money he was making, and this was the best he was getting because he was getting so many things given to him. As a result, like Goldberg's impression on wrestling is actually a lot more interesting when you take a look at the times and what he was dealing with. He was not perfect by any means, both in ring and out of the ring. But what he was being given was something that was almost unheard of for the time. And he carried a flag for WCW that a lot of people were only doing because they wanted more money. He wanted to be the guy who lifted up a company. And that was something to be thought of.
Yeah. Goldberg was, again, the top guy in WCW. Goldberg was the top guy in wrestling at one point. If you don't understand the impact that he had on the business, on WCW, again, short-lived. He didn't have a long longevity. He didn't have much longevity or anything. Once the streak ended, they couldn't figure out what to do with him, and it just became a thing, and they kind of neutered his whole character. His WWE run, he got fucked from the beginning.
You gotta break that down. So he comes in 2003. He immediately goes after The Rock. Stone Cold had just walked out, so you were never going to get the Goldberg Stone Cold match that people were clamoring for. You know, two bald men with goatees and black trunks. You weren't going to get that anymore because Stone Cold was done. As a result, you got Rock, which was fine. Then I went to Triple H. You had Kevin Nash. Then they expected Goldberg to speak, and Goldberg wasn't a talker, and that was part of the reason. Other than the fact that, you know, Goldberg was like, I'm sick of this shit and they're not paying me enough. That was part of the deal. He just it wasn't working.
The speaking, sure, but the man who's running WWE now,
yes,
also is not a Bill Goldberg fan.
Not at all.
And he definitely wasn't a Bill Goldberg fan at a time when he was the world champion and Goldberg came in looking like a threat to his reign. Same thing with Scott Steiner. Same thing with Booker T. There's a pattern here that this guy wasn't a fan of WCW talent.
What did they do to him in WCW? Meanwhile, he loves Regal. Was Regal his only WCW friend? What happened?
Regal wasn't a threat.
Regal wasn't a threat.
Regal didn't come in and was immediately positioned as a main eventer.
Regal was just like, I want to go feed my lizards and have a good time. Have fun, Cholio. And Paul was like, all right, I like this guy.
Yeah, Regal wasn't a threat. Yeah, Sting, 12 years later. And Sting wasn't even a threat at 12 years later. They just wanted to do a big WrestleMania match.
And I wanted to say Sting, but I was like, you can't really take the Sting thing seriously. But yeah, DDP was a whole other can of worms there. They gave him the stalker gimmick, and things didn't go from the beginning. I think he and Taker had some problems coming in anyway.
Maybe all the WCW guys had problems coming in because they were WCW guys.
Yeah, but I mean, beyond that, I think some stuff that had been said kind of led to DDP. But I'm not sure. Maybe I'm talking out of school. But with Page coming in, there was more. There was more expected from him, but also it's not like he was a young man either coming into WWE at the time.
All the WCW guys had problems because Triple H didn't want any of those guys getting over on him. So back to the Goldberg conversation. He deserved a better retirement match. If you're going to do a retirement match, I see guys in the chat and you guys are like, you know, he should have retired at the one Saudi match or after the Brock match at WrestleMania and all this stuff. Like, sure. Would the Brock match been a good swan song for him? Yeah. 100%. Would the Dolph match been? Yeah. 100%. Like, there could have been moments for him to just be like, you know what, I'm good. That's it. Easily. Point is, they gave him a retirement match. He wanted a retirement match. That's fine. Not everybody in wrestling gets a set retirement match. It's become more of a thing in the past few years of like, this is my last match, because you can build around that. You can make money off of it. And anytime these guys can make money, they like making money, especially the older generation that maybe didn't make a ton of money during. Goldberg certainly made plenty of money during his time, but the guys in the 80s and 90s who maybe didn't make a ton of money during their time. So they did the retirement match. All right, if you're going to do it, then treat it with some care. And they didn't. The build wasn't good. Gunther was a fine opponent, but Goldberg said himself, he's like, care about the world title? No offense, but He's won world titles. He's challenged for world titles with very little meaning and build before. I really don't think everyone knew he was probably going to lose, especially with the world title on the line. So I don't think he cared about, oh, it's a world title match. We're giving you a world title match. I don't think he cared about that at all. I just think he wanted to have some care into his retirement. And certain people weren't there that maybe he couldn't get. Maybe WWE was at odds with, whatever it might be. He said he wasn't going to mention it yesterday. Maybe he'll mention it in 2 weeks. And cutting him off on his speech. What are we doing? I understand why he wanted a PLE. If I'm WWE and I'm looking at it, that means Goldberg's probably going on last. And they probably didn't want him going on last. They probably didn't want him to close the show. Then it's like, oh, we got to build the whole PLE around Goldberg. And we know why they did this show on this day yesterday, right? Or Saturday, right? Like, they were counter-programming a bigger show. That's why they ran 3 shows this past weekend. They were counter-programming AEW, and they decided to put Goldberg's match as part of it. And they treated it as such. They treated it as an afterthought of, this is just part of our big weekend where we're just trying to steal headlines from AEW. That's it. That's what they were trying to do. That's why the Evolution build wasn't good. Credit to the ladies. They went out there and they did an excellent job. Look, credit to Bill and Gunther. I thought they did as good as they were going to do in 2025. But the whole weekend for WWE was treated like an afterthought because they just wanted to take away from AEW. And it didn't work, by the way. It didn't work. Saturday Night's Main Event did its lowest viewership since returning. And it had Goldberg's last match on it. So that tells you that, 1, it didn't work against AEW. 2, that they didn't hype this up as much as they could have and probably should have, because that should have done a better number. Goldberg's last match, you're telling me you can't get nearly 2 million viewers for this? What went wrong? 2 things. You tried to counter-program a show that more people were excited about, and 2, you didn't do a good enough job to get people interested in this last match.
First things first, there is an elephant in the room, something that you and I have talked about quite frequently, and that is the build versus the work rate. We never ever say, it was very rare that we say, they went into the show and the wrestlers didn't wrestle the wrestling. They didn't do the wrestling. These guys and girls, they know how to do it. They know how to do their jobs, especially when they're put on big stages. But how many times have you and I talked about having to overcompensate in your wrestling when you don't have a story attached to it? The reason why, and it's hilarious to me that I have to go to Moxley and Hangman as an example for this, but the reason why Moxley and Hangman didn't need to be a wrestling match, quote unquote, it was a bloodbath, but it didn't need to have rest holds and wrestling and stuff like that, was because they already had you emotionally. The match was about the heart soul of AEW, the world title coming out of the briefcase, the Death Rider story. Like, there was a culmination of reasons to get there. They didn't need to overcomplicate it. They did it. They hit it the way they were supposed to. Same thing with Tony and Mercedes. They went out and wrestled, but they didn't have to overcompensate because they had the story. Goldberg and Gunther, it's not that they had to overcompensate, but they certainly had to work a little harder to get people as invested as they became, because they didn't have a story built into it other than, oh, you came from me at bad blood. Remember that? Most people's answer is nope. And instead, they had to come back, bring it all around, and do one match on like a weak build, both WEEK and WEAK. It wasn't very well done. So as a result, this was something that I'll tell you, I used to give AEW shit for, was when they weren't building to things in an organic way or getting the audience invested. And as a result, wrestlers had to go and overcompensate to have a good match. And we talk about how good the matches were, how good the moves were. Now, at least on AEW's side, going into All In, they didn't need to rely so much on who was going to do the cool moves. They were able to rely more on the story being told going into the match, and as a result, not having to work nearly as hard as they did to get to that point. So Goldberg kind of got screwed in that regard, because Goldberg's also not like super duper wrestler, man. That's the other side of it. There's also Goldberg coming back and doing this. Yes, this Goldberg got to do something that not a lot of people got to do, and he acknowledged this too, and that is call his own retirement shot. The way that it played out was piss poor, because they called it Goldberg's last ride, and his last ride was literally one match. There was nothing out of this. So Ken Bruno earlier was like, you could have done Goldberg and Braun Breaker at SummerSlam, and that would have gotten over fine, because you're not building an entire night to Goldberg. When Kurt Angle retired at WrestleMania, they didn't build the entire night around Kurt Angle's retirement. Granted, that's also because Baron Corbin was the opponent, but at least there was a story being built around the retirement of the wrestler. You could have done that with Goldberg again going into SummerSlam, and not have to make Goldberg's retirement the reason to tune in, but one of the added features to watching the show, going to the show, whatever it is. And then Goldberg could have had his moment. Did it 10 minutes? Probably not. 5 minutes? You could have done a retirement speech in 3 to 5 minutes, and people would have been all about it. And it would have been a good break in the middle of the show, because it's not like they don't go to 50 billion commercials during a PLE anyway. So with Goldberg, I think he should have been handled better. I think he could have been handled better. I think we're going to find out that he had pitched some things that were both lofty, but also attainable in certain respects. If he says, I swear to God, if he says I was going to do Saudi in June, I am going to come on here and take so many laps around you people. But we'll see. We'll see what he says in 2 weeks. And I just think Goldberg coming back in 2016 opened the door to remind us that Goldberg can still have a story and do some good stuff. The Brock Lesnar, story, the Brock Lesnar arc that he told all the way to Mania 33 proved that. They did the squash. I was there in Toronto at Survivor Series. Shocking finish. Great, just great pacing of a WrestleMania match. 5 minutes in and out for the title. And then you can argue the stuff that happened in Saudi, the Fiend match, the having to do Pandemic Mania, the Undertaker match. There were certain things that absolutely called Goldberg's abilities into question late in his career. And I guess if you want to look at this as this was Goldberg's last ride to prove that Goldberg still has it at his age and still wanted to prove that he could go out looking good while putting someone over in the process, I think that was accomplished. But I don't think he got the respect that he deserved to have out of it. And that is getting his shit in on the microphone after the match ended. He didn't necessarily need 10 minutes. I think that's way too long, but 28 seconds is entirely too short.
In fairness to the 10 minutes thing, Cody Rhodes was half of that.
That's also a good point. But my point was more like, if you're going to do it, there is a happy balance between 28 seconds and 10 minutes to at least air the 2 minutes where he could have done the thank you. This is, these are the people I brought. These are the people who mean the most to me. Why is Chuck Zito walking me out to the ring? These questions and more answered before the end of the show. And then they could have done all the extra stuff with the cake and the Cody and the stuff. There wasn't a cake, but my point is there could have been one. Why wasn't there a cake, Goldberg?
It's a 10-minute video. He's done with his speech at about 5 minutes. And then he's hugging people, and then Cody's coming out there. So, yeah, it's basically a 5-minute speech.
Yeah.
Which you can find some time for. You don't need to do 28 seconds on that. But they posted it online. They got millions of views online.
And Goldberg spent a time where being on TV meant more than showing it online. And I get that. That's the one thing that he's got to have to wrestle with. Not literally. His retirement speech is online and it's airing online exclusively. I think it would have been nicer if they had put it on Raw and actually aired the damn thing on Raw and cut it down to a certain amount. At least to show hey man, we messed up. This wasn't malicious. This was a timing issue. We screwed up. Now we can at least put it on Raw for more people to see. They didn't do that. And I think that's just the bare minimum to show the respect and apology that he's asking for. And I think they could have done that. And I don't think people would have been so upset. Gunther had a promo and he said, I feel great. I feel great. They could have aired something about his retirement before that and gotten away with it. And no one would have complained.
I don't think they cared to do any of that.
Clearly they didn't give a shit about that.
I don't think they they cared at all about Goldberg's retirement. I think they saw it for what it was. Oh, you want to retire? All right, well, here's when you're going to do it. And here's the why you're going to do it on this day. But we're not going to tell you this is why you're going to do it on this day. Draw your own conclusion on this. And we're going to build it the way we're going to build it. Goldberg doesn't need a 2-month build on this stuff. His point of, I needed more time to, make arrangements for like friends and family. So that's a valid point. It's a retirement match. You would like to have more time for that stuff. Again, you would like to have more time to build it, like really build it. Of it's Goldberg's retirement, like really hammer these things home and try to move tickets than more than just like, hey guys, it's Goldberg's retirement. Just come out or don't. Like it's fine if you're not there, but still watch at home. Just don't watch that other wrestling that's on pay-per-view. Just don't watch that. But it's Goldberg's retirement. You definitely want to see this. Now, the real conversation.
Wait, hold on. Are you
Okay.
going to talk about Gage, or is that later?
No, I don't.
No, I do want to bring this up though.
Okay.
Part of the reason why they were playing so friendly with Goldberg is because they want Gage. They want Gage Goldberg in WWE. They want him on an NIL deal, and he did talk about it on the Helwani episode that Gage was offered, and he said, we pumped the brakes on that. And while he wouldn't clarify whether or not he was offered enough money to do the deal or not, I could probably stand to assume, given everything we just talked about, the 3 Goldberg rules, I would assume that one of those rules was not met, which is the financial implications of the NIL deal with Gage Goldberg. So them pumping the brakes on it could have been both reactionary and financially motivated, but I think that's something that's worth looking at. They were trying to play for Gage.
Well, yeah, I think they've been trying to play for him ever since he enrolled at Colorado and
right.
He was eligible. I'll try to give Goldberg benefit of the doubt where he talks about the financial compensation of logical thinking says it wasn't enough. And listening to enough Goldberg and how he speaks about his son, I could also, I could see, this is a small part of me, I'm not saying this is the reason. I can see where it's like, actually we don't want him to get these type of benefits while he's playing football and also wrestling. Like he needs to like work for things. It's not just, hey, here's however much it's offered. Here's $100,000 because they don't need the money. If Gage like needs something, Goldberg has the money to be like, yeah, sure, here you go. The way Goldberg speaks about his son, it is very much of like he's proud of him, but he wants him to carve his own path and do his own thing and do things the right way and not just take a bunch of handouts and everything. So I do think there is a world where it was actually too much money, or it was too much of, oh, he's going to get a little too comfortable with this. And he doesn't need to get comfortable. He hasn't proven anything to get comfortable.
Yeah, I don't think it was too much money.
Okay.
I just don't. But I understand the point of like them wanting Gage to go through it to get to it, right? Paying his dues and so on and so forth. Because Goldberg, more than anyone, as I discussed earlier, like he is someone who was mistreated early for the options that he was given in wrestling and the opportunities he was given. And maybe he wants to keep his son away from that. Maybe he assumes that's how it is in today's wrestling landscape. I don't think it's quite the same, but I think there's merit to at least wanting to protect your kid, because God knows most parents, that's what we're trying to do. We'll get a couple from Tenruza and then we'll get to what you're talking about. It says, if you didn't come back for 2016, then I'm with you. Again, when Goldberg did the stuff with Brock Lesnar going into 2017, you probably could have ended it at that WrestleMania and people would have been very happy. But Goldberg was Goldberg and Goldberg wanted to keep going. And some people were into it and some people were done with it. On the other side, Tenruza is saying, AEW did Sting great. I laughed at Goldberg. We laughed at Goldberg too when he was doing the Saudi shows and doing the silly shit with the Fiend and almost dropping Undertaker on his head. And thank God nothing, bad happened there. But going against the Fiend was one thing, and then doing the Saudi matches was just, it was funny to us because it was so asinine. And yeah, AEW picked up Sting and gave Sting the respectful finish that he deserved coming out of a really shitty situation in WWE. He wasn't given what he deserved, and when he wanted to round out his career in AEW, they did a really good job with him. They found a way to make that a big deal and put an entire pay-per-view around his retirement. It's great.
I mean, that's the best retirement run
Yeah.
you may ever see.
Yeah.
Honestly.
And again, there was just a level of care and a level of respect given that you don't always get. And also Sting was working at a pace that he was comfortable doing, and he was still doing crazy stuff for a guy who was not very active in the ring. And at a certain age, I'm not going to say like old people can't wrestle. Actually, Mike Jackson's a great example of people who still go hard in the ring, but there's a limit when you're not doing it all the time. And Sting wasn't wrestling, every week, but he was going out there, at least twice a month and doing it. Yeah, like he was jumping off vomitoriums. He was going crazy. Sting was having matches. Sting was having fun, and they saw that and they kept giving that because he was giving it to them. So, no, again, by all accounts, Sting's an edge case when it comes to retirements because he was given something perfect. And Ric Flair was like the other side of it. Yeah, as in Flair was involved. That anyway. Now
Tony Khan has the chance to do the funniest thing ever with a Goldberg retirement.
So what's that story?
Oh, you know what the story is. You know what the story is, Joel.
Jack off.
Hi, guys!
You're absolutely right. I should have seen it coming.
That's the story.
That'd be perfect. That is the perfect. That's it. Someone had said he comes in and he squashes Max Caster. And I like that idea. That's how you introduce Goldberg. The Max Caster Open Challenge, and Goldberg does it. But then Jericho comes out and him and Max Caster become a team. Like he takes Max Caster under his wing, and then it's Goldberg and Jericho. That's it. Put MVP in the ring too.
Goldberg and Jericho as the retirement match is what it should be. You do a legit build to it. Build a pay-per-view around it. Do a special pay-per-view. It doesn't have to be Revolution or Double or Nothing. Do a special pay-per-view. Not only do a special pay-per-view, do it against an NXT show. Whatever the NXT schedule is, announce your show after that, like WWE does. Announce your show after NXT's already got their schedule out there, and run Goldberg's retirement match against it, and do it properly. A proper build with a proper send-off, and take away from NXT. That's what they should do. I don't know if Tony's petty enough to do this. I don't think he is. Goldberg has made comments regarding AEW and Tony in the past that I'm sure Tony is like, yeah, I want them.
Come back, Jeremy. Come back. Come back. We broke him.
Okay, there we go.
There you go.
Goldberg has made comments in the past about AEW and Tony, where I'm sure Tony's like, yeah, I want nothing to do with this. Like, fair to it. But he has the chance to do the funniest thing possible if he really wants to be petty towards WWE and prove, he doesn't need to prove this, mind you, but prove that like this is where you can go and continue to get your proper send-off that the other company won't give you unless you're best friends with Triple H.
I think when Cope said to Christian, go find yourself, Christian should come back in 2 weeks and say, Cope, I found myself. I went to Atlanta and I found myself a new tag team partner. And out comes Goldberg. And it's Cope and Christian. It's going to be Christian and Goldberg versus Cope and who cares? Just squashing Cope weeks on end.
They should do it just out of pettiness. They should 100% do it.
People being like, no one cares about Goldberg. I care about Goldberg.
You guys are crazy if you
don't
think.
Understand. You don't get it.
You guys are crazy.
Children in our audience. I swear to God. I don't get it.
You hardcore AEW fans.
You're all the same.
You're not tuning out just
respect.
because Goldberg is there. You will still watch. Honest question. If Goldberg shows up and does a 2 minute thing on AEW, are you just not going to watch AEW anymore? Honest question.
This is it. No one ever tunes out. It was the same conversation I was having with the whole, if Hangman doesn't win, is this promotional malpractice? And I was like, no, I disagree. I think people would have been just as fine. I'm canceling my Max subscription. I'm no longer watching. I won't be there. You'll be there on Wednesday. You'll begrudgingly be there because wrestling fans are completionists. You are. Come on.
No. They would have tuned out for Hangman. That would have been, because that's an actual overarching AEW thing. I think you would have run people off if Hangman did not win.
Good.
At All In.
Good. Those people don't deserve to be fans. They didn't sit through the real shit. You got to go through the real bottoms to hit the real highs. The highs being Darby Allin at the top of Mount Everest with a big drone shot. I'm coming for your title. Not this bullshit coming from the mountaintops.
Goldberg showing up ain't running off fans. Goldberg getting a proper retirement ain't running off fans.
That's actually a very good point, by the way. People crying about Swerve losing the viewership grew the next Dynamite. People are offline, man. I love y'all, but the offline folks are the ones you want. That's why people don't stop us at wrestling shows. They just don't. I mean, apparently they stopped the Grapsody guys, but like that's why they just don't. Because they ain't watching us, and that's okay. That's okay. I wish they did, because we're funny as hell and people love us and we're perfect. But like, come on, people ain't watching us.
Why are you burying our show, Joel?
Sorry, I would you rather I bury the guys who are currently doing a hashtag wah Goldberg and posting AI photos of Goldberg?
Is that a thing? I don't know.
Yeah, it's an unfortunately stupid thing, but I won't say bad things because it was his birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, Dave.
Oh, okay.
Joel doesn't go to wrestling shows is an accurate depiction of fact. I've not been to a show.
I got stopped at Revolution.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I got stopped twice at Mania weekend.
There you go.
Maybe a couple times more than that. I just don't remember.
You sound a little angry today, Joel.
I'm angry for Goldberg.
Oh, okay.
You attack my Jewish brethren, and I have to stand up for them.
Okay.
Jeremy, we were taught as children, never again. And this is one time where I can't let Goldberg go. I gotta let him. He needs to know I support him no matter what.
All right.
Also, I'm angry every day. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Today.
Kind of fair.
Yeah, I'm mad for Goldberg. I wanted more. He should be the AEW World Champion, but he should also be the World Heavyweight Champion. He should have beat that Gunther guy. Am I angry about TNA? That is also something that I am something about. But hey, Sunday they have the chance to make me never work again doing TNA post shows. Could happen.
Why? What are you gonna do?
Oh, I said if Santana doesn't win the World Championship at Slammiversary, then I'm quitting the post show. The live Impact that week will be my last one.
Oh, that's cowardly.
How's it cowardly? I've given them a lot of time. I'm done letting Tommy Dreamer and Delirious ruin my Thursdays.
All right, that's cowardly.
Can't believe you. You want to do it? You and Cresta are going to do the post shows on Thursdays?
No, I never signed up to do it, though.
Oh, that's fine. I signed up to do it when TNA was still good.
Yeah, but you knew that wasn't going to last.
That's true. I'll tell you what, if AJ Styles shows up, maybe I'll stick around.
They're trying to tease him. Carlos Silva's trying to tease him.
They are walking a very fine line doing this.
Yeah.
I'm curious. I'm not asking around because AJ Styles is really hard to pin down for anything. Notice how we've been trying to do contract scoops on him for like, I don't know, a solid year, and only recently we got something, and it still was very not nebulous, but it was like you signed a 1-year extension as by reporting close to him. Like, okay, this is the stuff with AJ showing up at Slammiversary. We've been waiting. I've been saying he should have been inducted to the Hall of Fame last year. They should have had him at Bound for Glory. And Ryan Lambert saying in the chat, to be fair, Carlos Silva says a lot of things. Well, he tweeted this one. So tweeting is a little bit different when you got to promote and say, we're adding seats. Well, why are you adding seats? Your show's not sold out. It's nowhere near sold out. Why didn't you just add some sections instead of saying we're moving the stage back? What do you mean you're moving the stage back? You've sold maybe what, 4,400 is what you're aiming for? You got to beat 41. I haven't seen, the last I saw was 3750 from WrestleTix. That's the last that I saw. Oh, here's an update. Okay, I've got 4423 from an hour ago. So they've surpassed last year. They're happy. That being said, if people are going expecting AJ Styles and they don't get AJ Styles, is that on the promotion or is that on the people when you have capitalized the words phenomenal in your tweet? And the only guy who's ever been in your company who's been known as phenomenal is AJ Styles.
This promotional tactic, it's working, and now you've got to deliver. Carlos Silva's not a very online person. Like he's
become one.
I mean, he has less than 5,000 followers on Twitter.
He was at 1,000 a few months ago. Before I didn't even follow him, but like he's picked it up.
Right. Here's what I'm getting at. He's at less than 5,000 on Twitter. Not a big following. Yeah, he's been tweeting a lot more. Not a whole lot of engagement on his tweets. For somebody who is the president of TNA, he barely cracks 100 likes on most of his tweets. This phenomenal tease has over 1,000. What they've done has worked as far as getting people excited, getting it out there that, oh, due to high demand, additional seats have been added. You want to tune in. But the phenomenal tease is a big part of that. If you're going to do this, you better deliver on it. Because if you don't deliver on it, I don't know how many people are going to come back. Even if Santana wins, and I fully expect him to win. Like, I think it's not only like people not coming back, it's the people you have drawn in are not coming back. You're probably not going to run off your hardcore fans because those people have been through the wars. But the people that you have drawn in are now just going to be like, this is still LOL TNA. Why'd I tune in to this? I thought I was getting AJ Styles and like, all right, I got a cool wrestling show, but I got no reason to tune in again. Like, you guys duped me again. Like, you've got to build up some good faith here and deliver on this tease at this point.
You know, Jeremy tweets a TK. Joel, you need to start doing the same with Carlos Silva. No, I refuse.
Okay.
I refuse. You know why? Because Carlos will reply to anything I post. Jeremy got TK once on a good day.
I've gotten Tony more than
you
once.
know, I mean, like on the show about things that we actually like care about on the show. If I start tweeting at Carlos for like frivolous shit, the only thing I want is for him to license Toto's Hold the Line for Steve Macklin. That's all I got. But like, they need the goodwill. They don't have the goodwill. The goodwill's been not taken. It's been burnt over the last year.
Yes.
Gail going, Scott going. I was talking to someone at TNA about this. Scott was a very out there exposure. What's the word? Front facing president. Or whatever, head of TNA. And then Ariel Schneider takes over. And he's very insular. Like he stays behind the scenes. He didn't get along with everyone behind the scenes, but like he didn't do a lot of interviews. He didn't do a lot of PR stuff. He was just there. And now Carlos is picking up where Scott left off. And I think that's what TNA has been known for, is having leadership that is front facing. Dixie was one of those people as well. And obviously Jeff and Jerry for a time. So like TNA has always had management that's been more open than most, which is like, it's good. They're going back to their roots in that regard. But I just, again, they've been the cockroaches of wrestling for better or worse. And I don't know if there's anything that they can do to get beyond that feeling. What could TNA possibly do? They can't rebrand, that's for shit. That's for sure. The Impact helped at the time. Then they went back to TNA because it had the name recognition. It had the nostalgia factor. What do you do to make TNA, a brand that is not universally respected, but certainly more so by long-term wrestling fans? Some are seeing it, and some are just kind of like, well, like we talked about, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I don't know where they stand, and if they don't give you AJ Styles on Sunday, then there are going to be some upset people. And I don't even know, like, is it AJ in the building, or is it AJ as the announced member of the TNA Hall of Fame? It's at Bound for Glory, because that's typically when they do Hall of Fame. I don't know.
I mean, if he shows up at the end of the show, confronts Trick Williams after Trick retains,
God, no. Like, I thought about this, and I hope not, because it makes little to no sense to do that with AJ.
What, to have him confront Trick Williams?
It just, like, it makes sense from a certain standpoint, but it's so... Trick going after Undertaker, and now he's going to go after AJ Styles. Like, what are we doing? What is Trick Williams doing? Going on the Legends run.
Yeah. I mean, maybe Dom's not cleared for SummerSlam, and we get Trick and AJ Styles in a TNA World Title match at SummerSlam.
Just give him the Intercontinental Championship. It's just really messed up. It's messed up.
People are expecting AJ Styles at this point. You can't do the phenomenal tease without doing that. And AJ Francis has been, dropping the teases and everything. He's been doing this for a few months now, honestly. But he's been, doing the teases. I think AJ pays attention to TNA at this point. I think he actually watches. I wish he'd bring back his Twitch stream.
God,
so
I miss
we would know if he watches.
So much. I miss his Twitch stream so much because he would just say anything. He had so much time and so little care. It was perfect. The Undertaker called out the TNA World Champion on Twitter. Imagine that 5 years ago. No, because who was the TNA World Champion 5 years ago? Oh, you don't want that one. No, actually, he probably would like that champion. Yeah, both. I used to love your daddy. Anyway, 10 Resistance Super Chat saying, want to say I love you both. Just want better for this industry. For too long, it's been such a low bar in standards, quote unquote. It's just wrestling, and I hate that. Shrugs. And I get it. That's the thing. That's why we have it's just wrestling in certain regards. But when it comes to treatment of athletes or even a storyline and the opportunity to do better, we do care about that. At the end of the day, it's not going to get us so up or so down. That's why we'll take the it's just wrestling take. But we want it to mean something for the sake of our own enjoyment and hopefully the enjoyment of others.
That's just wrestling. I don't care.
I want more people to take wrestling to task when they do stupid shit. That's what I want.
What can we take to task then, Joel? Let's call some people out. Let's call out companies and wrestlers.
We've done this though. We just I mean,
there's got to be more.
There's plenty, I'm sure.
All right, let's get on them.
Who's first?
I don't know. You're the one who wants to call people out.
I didn't say I wanted to call people out. I just said
you just said that you want to take people to task.
I didn't say right this minute I want to take people to task.
Okay.
People saying call out Vicky Guerrero. Well, the fans are already cheering for her, so that story is now gone, and that sucked too.
But they don't care.
No,
they're like, oh, it's Vicky Guerrero.
She's doing the excuse me thing.
Yeah, they don't care. They know. They just don't care.
Yeah.
And clearly, much of the audience either didn't know or didn't care because she still got a big reaction and a big pop for it. So that's why they continue to do these things, is because the audience continues to eat it up. So they'll just keep associating with the people they associate with.
Exactly. It's like, what are we? Yeah. That's where I'm just like, okay, I'm just leaving it. I'm just leaving it. Yeah. There are wrestlers out there that I don't talk about or that I don't give much air to, and there's a reason for that. There are plenty of reasons for it. There are some that some people absolutely love. And I'm just like, we just forgot about stuff, huh? Okay, sure. 5 years ago didn't matter. Okay, sure. Why not? Go and enjoy it. It's just wrestling, right? It's just wrestling.
5 years ago was a long time ago. Can't expect people to remember things.
That's what a certain person wants you to believe who doesn't work in wrestling anymore.
Doesn't work in wrestling anymore?
Well, certainly waiting for his lawsuit to pass so that he could go back to working in wrestling if he wanted to. This was a Vinceism. Nobody remembers things from 2 months ago. We should be calling out Sean for not eating eggs on In the Weeds.
Stopped paying attention to Vince a long time ago.
You and me both, unless you got a report on it, baby.
Well, yeah, but then I just do it. I'm like, all right, whatever.
Someone asked me, who was the TNA champ 5 years ago? Just go back in Cage Match and go look at 2020.
Yeah.
The answer might surprise you.
Well,
it may have been the moment when they moved on to the
next it was about this time. It was like the June, July time that she ended up just...
Well, now you've given it away.
Well,
I know.
I got to dance around it. It was Tessa Blanchard, everybody.
Awful. Hold on, I'm just looking. I want to see something. I want to look this up. Do vacant? No. Vacant. Oh, it was 2 days from now. It's Eddie Edwards.
Okay.
So we got 2 days.
I was gonna say, it was about this time that she was dropping the title, but not dropping it.
Yeah, she she dropped it on the 25th of June, and then Eddie Edwards picked it up on the 7th of July. Held it for 45 days. You know who the champion was after that?
After Tessa?
No, after Eddie Edwards.
No.
The smartest man in TNA, Eric Young.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
EY, who knows it. He gets it. He knows. He knows. He knows. That was 5 years ago, friends. Believe it or not. NXT star Edward Edwards showing up with the system, baby. System showed up on NXT last night. TNA was all over NXT. It's almost as if they have a pay-per-view to promote this weekend.
Yes, yes.
The Dark State story is hilarious.
Man, I had hopes for them.
So did they, and then they sent them to TNA to get some reps in, brother.
Yeah. I had hopes for them. I thought, like, the introduction was good. I thought, oh, you know what? They're actually going to do something. They're going after champions. And then they just stopped caring after a week or two. And that's my fault, everybody. I shouldn't have gotten my hopes high for this Vigilante group because they have no idea how to do, like, Vigilante stuff past vignettes and chaos. Once they get past the chaos, they're done. Has a Vigil, like, I'm trying to think in the history of WWE, have they ever done, like, a good Vigilante storyline? And the most recent examples are all no. So that makes me believe they just have never done a good Vigilante storyline.
Wow, what about Sting?
All the examples are no.
Oh, of course, now Sean wants to talk to me.
What?
The interview has been, never mind. I'll put in the private chat.
Okay.
Oh man. Hold on. Sorry, friends. I'm putting it here just for the sake of transparency. It's something that I can't put fully out there yet.
No. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, I figured that.
Yeah. So
at some point it was gonna happen.
Getting messages about that. Okay. Vigilante stories that have worked. I don't think so. They start hot because they're questions. You know, who are these people? What are they doing? And then all of a sudden it's like they drop the ball immediately. Hello, Sean.
Hello, Sean.
Speaking of dropping the ball, like I trained for several minutes for this appearance.
Do you have the eggs?
And I'm over here on Overbooked and not on the main channel or behind the paywall. It's not how I would have done it. I would have had you all announce my appearance on this show back in like perhaps February of 2021. And then we would.
Well, that's all the time we have for Sean today. We'll put the rest of his interview up online.
Here we are. Now, you did warn me ahead of time that this would be online.
Yes.
You did tell me that. But I am pissed off regardless of that. Despite that.
Sean, can we get an update on the NIL deals that we have on one of your cats?
I was going to, I was at least going to let them hear it out and all that. But then when I found out it was Whiskas and not Friskies, I shut that down real fast.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I understand completely. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, to be clear, I know that I'm burying you guys, but in 2 weeks, I'll be able to talk a little bit more about this.
I assume that'll be behind the paywall on your own show.
I don't know where it will be, and I'm not going to tell you where it's going to be, and I'm not going to give you any other hints as to why it is that I have to wait for 2 weeks to talk about this. But I will keep repeating like that it's going to be 2 weeks.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Contract runs out at the end of July. Can't speak about it while still under contract.
Yeah.
Maybe sign
that
an NDA.
That must be it.
Something like that, right?
It's probably it. Might be it. Now, you might have asked when, like, anything that surprised me. And I got to admit, when Jeremy ran over me with his car repeatedly and I laughed, like, I thought it would hurt a lot more. And it's just kind of cute to me, I guess.
You apologized.
And it's not me burying wrestlers today that are little bitches or anything like that. It's just, I thought it would hurt more. That's all. I just thought it would hurt a little bit more to get hit by that GTO or Charger or whatever the hell that is up there.
It's Charger.
It's a Charger. There you go.
That ruled when he was like, yeah, Gunther's chops were shit. And it just made me laugh. These wrestlers today selling it like a death. Doesn't mean anything. I thought it was funny. That was hilarious. Absolutely hilarious.
Then goes backstage. Oh, just apologizing and take it seriously. Amazing. Oh my
Bet
God.
you anything AEW offers him a real retirement.
I said it. I said
of which I'm pretty sure they have before.
Well, remember there was
he
the
wrote
whole...
it off as like a joke.
Yeah, remember there was the whole thing, like he was kind of talking about AEW, like, oh, it's just like flippy guys, and they don't do stories. The tried and true remarks, and Tony, of course, was diplomatic, and like we've had good conversations with Bill. Bill played in the NFL, and I'm in the NFL, and all this stuff. Like Tony has the chance to do the funniest thing ever, doing a Goldberg and Jericho match as Goldberg's retirement.
Thank God they had the great story of my family, of which Goldberg has only done like 4 times.
He's like, yeah, world title, I don't care about that. And family, yeah, we do that all the time. I do like something actually decent for me. Announce it on 3 weeks. Tony should do a Goldberg retirement. Whenever NXT's running a show, that's when he should run the Goldberg retirement match.
They can do it in Lowell.
Proper one.
They could have done it in Lowell during Forbidden Door.
No, they have Forbidden Door that week. They can't do. They're not going to do 2 shows. They're not going that WWE with them. AEW's just going to run 3 shows the weekend of NXT Heatwave.
This is good.
That's the thing. It should be like the end of December, and it should be like Jericho loses and he's leaving, and Goldberg is also going to leave.
Guys, I'm interviewing Carlos Silva. I know Joel Pearl wants me to ask about the trucker hat, but what do y'all want me to ask about?
So the trucker hat thing feels like people are going to say it's a joke, but I really do want to know why he's wearing that and not like the logo. And also when they decided to pitch this as an actual thing you can buy on the store. I think that's actually something worth asking. And also, sorry, I didn't actually DM it to you, but I will tell you now. Can you ask about the history of having front-facing TNA presidents or just heads of TNA doing more, because he's starting to pick that up. He didn't do this before. Now he's doing it, whereas his predecessor didn't, but everyone before him was doing it. So what goes into that thought process?
And I see somebody saying, ask him about Tessa, and I'm like, it wasn't his call. Like, he wasn't the guy that brought that.
It's out there, by the way. It's out there who it was.
It's Ariel Helwani.
Yeah. So I mean, like, it wasn't a him thing, and I know a lot of people said, "Oh, well, it was Gail." It wasn't a Gail thing either. Gail was like, "I'll work with her," but yeah. I'm also gonna outright say, is AJ Styles going to be?
I was gonna say, ask about AJ Styles, and
like, what else am I gonna?
Because we were just talking about that, of how that tweet got a lot of impressions, and he doesn't do a ton of tweet impressions out there. Like, you're teasing something like that, feels like you got to deliver on that, or people are gonna go back to the LOL TNA. We've been duped again. Why are we giving any time or money?
If they don't deliver on that now, that's a lot. That is a lot.
What about the pivot going back to airing TNA Impact live on YouTube and not putting emphasis on TNA Plus? Because that was a hard pivot that happened. Because at the beginning of the summer, it was supposed to be, we're only airing it 6 p.m. Fridays as a replay. Now they're showing them live on YouTube every week, I guess, until they get a TV deal.
Which, to me, my thing is, how much money are you really making from Access anyway? I'll give you a good example. Although it wasn't live, because you couldn't do live then, when Sinclair owned ROH, Sinclair also would distribute it to their syndicated channels as well. But as a result, like, after a few days, they would allow ROH to put it up on their own website, so everybody could watch ROH TV when it was around. I kept trying to tell that to people when ROH was really, really good. Like, you don't have to have television to watch this. It's syndicated and it's online. But I'm interested in this one. We'll see how this goes, because, we'll just see how it goes. But I would imagine they want as many eyeballs as possible, because, again, how much money could you really be making on Access when Access owns or Anthem owns Access, and the only commercials that you saw were, like, I always say, for Sammy Hagar concerts on Access.
Well, they're preempting the show again this week because of what they did last week. They were showing an old, Diary of Dead Rock Stars from like 2018, 2019. And that show just cuts into the first hour of Impact for no reason. So I don't know what Carlos said in the interview, that they know Access is not a sports sports. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't do sports. So I guess clearly Access is just like, all right, well, screw you guys. Just go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, legit question for me. Very rare. Ask him for clarity on, because he talked about Invicta and TNA running like the same weekend, but he also talked about, the way the question was phrased initially in the answer he gave was Invicta and TNA running like the same show. And he talked about like moving the ring and the octagon on like casters and stuff. So basically they were going to do like 3 wrestling matches and then 3 fights. I want to know if that is a legit thing they want to do, is running wrestling and fights the same show, not the same weekend of like, oh, TNA on Friday and Invicta on Saturday. Like, are you planning to run a show that has both?
Interesting.
Have they landed on why they're running UBS, by the way?
No, but that was a decision before he was installed.
He'll still answer that as if he was there for it.
True. So also, has there been a TNA wrestler that holds the NXT titles?
Haven't gotten there yet. I don't know if we're going to see that on Sunday.
I don't think it's happening on Sunday.
I think JC Jane's Stan account here might be very happy this weekend.
I mean, Jeremy and I were talking about how that you could have Masha win on Sunday, do the surprise, and then by Thursday she drops one of those titles on the live show.
Sure.
Yeah, I think JC's winning, or they're doing a non-finish.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Match. Because they had They had JC lose last night, and they had Masha stand tall, and that's usually
Stand tall
a
match,
sign
baby.
that's
Right.
sign of what's to come.
Sean, when you come to Toronto in September, you want to come to Mystery Wrestling with me?
I'll be flying out at that time. Fun fact, I almost got booked for that show.
I am so not surprised.
And that's if I still come. Like, listen, this Dallas trip took a lot out of me. It did. I was like, man, I don't know how much more. Because so first off, here's what I told some content creators. Like, you can't just be a WWE content creator, because let me tell you, it's going to be a barren wasteland after SummerSlam, because what's in September? What's in October? Are they going to do media around those? No. November, Survivor Series. They never do media around those except for the press conference, because they don't want to have the talent fly in on Thanksgiving to do media junkets. Well, what's December? Something they won't do media with. You go into Saudi for the Rumble? Doubt it. Will they do Elimination Chamber? Probably, but will they do a junket? Probably not. So unless you want to sit there for the presser, you're probably after SummerSlam waiting until WrestleMania season for stuff like that. And yeah, it can be pretty exhausting, but I'm going to hop off here.
Stop doing interviews so I have less to do. That's what I want.
You know me. If you send me to them, I will do them.
Well, I've got Carlos Silva today, Mike Santana tomorrow. Hold on, let me see the gentleman's name.
Thatch can handle all
I
this.
have Emile Charles Balagian Laberge on Friday.
Oh, yes. Love that guy.
Yeah.
Tell him his Twitch.
You know him,
channel is
Jeremy?
the best.
No.
Speedball Mike Bailey.
Yeah, it's Speedball.
Oh, okay. I don't
It's his
use
shoot
shoot
name.
name brothers.
That's how I should. That'd be great for the SEO, right?
Yeah,
If I did
I'm
that.
sure that would go very well. People are definitely Googling that.
We got to get the
I think
accents for these.
I think Corey has Isla Dawn soon.
Isla Dawn, get it right.
Sorry, I'm getting out of here. I'm such a piece of shit.
Bye, Sean.
Thanks, Sean. Oh my goodness. Oh, there we go. We got the Carlos Silva interview is happening today.
Yes, that's what Joel was
That's what I was
at.
Yeah, I was trying to get my stuff together for that. Someone was asking about TNA stuff airing. They're airing. I'm just because chat's asking. They are airing on Thursday like they normally do. It's free on YouTube at 8 p.m. Eastern. It is 9 o'clock Eastern on Access for whatever reason, because the same stupid shit, they keep pushing them over for no reason. Okay. And then they are not live. It is taped. The next live Impact is next Thursday after Slammiversary. They'll be in Rhode Island. Whoever asked is Joel's second account. I don't think that Zeno Hour is my second account.
Might be.
That would be impressive. That would be very impressive. That's
Might
true.
be, yeah.
Mr. Burt Wayne sent a couple super chats. One say, "Tell Bill no one cared he was retiring. The ratings show it, and no one cares about his gripes moving forward." Well, I mean, we're talking about it, and we've discussed why it's important and why it's worth paying attention to Bill in this case. So that's just your opinion, man. If you don't like it, go to Busted Open and share their same Wawa Goldberg sentiments. What do you want from my life?
That's fine. Like,
of course.
I mean, the ratings did show that not as many people cared as probably should have.
The show also just wasn't very well set up to begin with.
Well, yeah, again, there's a reason
exactly
why I don't think people cared. I think if there was some actual care into the setup and the weekend they were running, I think you would have seen better numbers for it. But they didn't care about that. Their whole goal was, can we take away 2 buys from AEW? And if we can, then we have succeeded. Can we take away headlines from AEW? And if we can, then we have succeeded. And I don't think they succeeded, honestly. I think they failed. I think this weekend was a failure for WWE. Not for the talent. The talent did great. Goldberg and Gunther was better than it had any right to be. Evolution, people are calling it the best WWE PLE of the year. I think the talent did exceptional this weekend. And Great American Bash was a very good show. But I think their goal of let's cut into AEW and let's steal headlines from AEW, let's steal buys from AEW, I think they failed.
Yep. Following up, Masha for the dub. We'll see about that. And Masha takes home the NXT title and Grace recovers it. I don't think you'll be seeing Jordan Grace picking up the NXT title for Masha. I think they're going to move. I don't think they're going to be doing Masha and Jordan anytime soon. That's my feeling. However, they'll do Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe. Blake Monroe will probably go after the NXT title, probably win it, but it'll probably be winning it from JC Jane. Again, Masha could win on Thursday, drop the title on, or Masha could win on Sunday, drop the title on Thursday. Easy as that. But the problem is, then we got to get to Bound for Glory with the Knockouts title, and I shudder to think who's going to be going for that title. I hope Indy wins. That's all I can say. I hope Indy Hartwell wins her match. Not necessarily of the belief that she will, but it'd be nice to see.
Yeah.
Oh, and for those asking about the whole ask Carlos about Enzo, he'll give you an answer, but he'll also kind of tell you to talk to the other guy from New York who booked him, the guy from Yonkers. So there you go.
AJ Francis?
No, AJ's not from New York. I don't think he's from.
I don't know where AJ's from. He's from Maryland, isn't he?
Allegedly.
Yeah, that's where he does a lot of his community work and stuff.
Yeah, I think he's Maryland. Yeah. Someone saying Ash is the next. Ash Valix is the next challenger. Yes, she does get a shot probably as early as an Impact Live or maybe at the next PLE. Who knows? Regardless, that's a thing. Where are we? Yes, TNA was all over NXT. Masha pinned JC. We talked about. The system showed up without Moose and no Cardona. And that was fine. They have a pay-per-view to promote. No AJ Styles on the show, though. AJ Styles should have been all over TNA and all over NXT, and then they shouldn't have brought him in. Why are people telling us to push Steven Jensen?
I mean, I agree.
I agree. He's a busy guy.
Yeah, Jensen has an actual job.
A real job.
Yeah, that's why he's not on this show ever, but we do a show together every Thursday at 6:30. You know, you can watch that. He's on the Weekender every weekend, but this is not Jensen's first priority. He
Steven Jensen to give us his money.
He works a 9 to 5. Jensen does. So,
push Steven Jensen to give me his massage chair.
You got to make some bets on some pit stops, and that's how you can get.
I'm at the point where I don't know if he's making too much money or losing too much money. I'm very confused.
Probably both.
He's probably doing both. And it's not like he's got, he by all accounts doesn't seem to have children or a family. So like it's all his own, just it's all his money to do with as he pleases.
Yeah.
Worst. We need to get him married.
I tried to hook him up with his upstairs neighbor.
Wow, the elderly lady.
Yeah, well,
it was all about it. Linda, the old lady.
Yeah,
that's fine.
I don't think it worked though.
Not with that attitude. You need to call her up again and say, "Push."
I mean, I agree, but he won't. He's not having it.
Yeah, he has Cody Rhodes merch better than any kid or family.
Yeah, he ain't giving up that Cody Rhodes budget for anybody else. The first person he dates or anything is like, "Oh, you buy me this?" He's like, "Well, Cody Rhodes just released a new T-shirt. Kind of need to buy that instead of whatever frivolous item you would like." And that's going to be the end of that relationship.
Happy birthday, baby. I got you roses. Why are they colored red, white, and blue? For America? No, for Cody Rhodes, the best champion of all time.
For Joey Chestnut and Cody Rhodes.
That's why there's a single yellow rose in the batch for the yellow mustard belt that he wears. It's amazing who his heroes are. Like Cody Rhodes and Joey Chestnut. Those are people into whom, God bless that man. God bless Steven Jensen. He's just too pure for this world. Joey Chestnut.
Yeah, someone's gonna be like, "I like Roman Reigns." That's gonna be the end of that relationship.
That's it. Yeah.
Immediately.
They put out their ones and that's it. Adrenaline in my hot dogs. Someone in the chat was talking about Fightful Dating Show. Way back when we were just a wee Twitch channel, we used to do late night Friday streams after the SmackDown post show. And we didn't do dating show. We did dating stories. And I'll never forget that episode because that went until like 3 a.m. And then Jeremy and I were on for another like 2 hours offline. And that was a whole thing. That's back when we used to have to use Skype to do our shows.
Yeah.
Man, what a time. Skype and OBS, and I'd be hosting the streams. Hell yeah.
I don't know if you could do fight. I mean, a lot of us are married. So,
yeah. Or just not wanting to be with people who like wrestling.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I guess we can go outside of the Fightful scope and just do like wrestling content creators. But a
lot of them are married too. Also, like how many women are there?
That also just sounds awful.
It does actually sound awful.
I feel like most of I don't know most, but the 2 of the 3 women that I'm thinking of, 3 of the 4 are also married. So
yeah, one of them's married to Bad Bunny.
Oh, true. Yeah.
So
that's 4 of the 4.
Yeah.
No, okay, so 4 of the 5 is the one I'm thinking of then.
Man, I'm telling you, one day, Jensen will find his true love.
Oh.
I don't think we're doing a dating show. I don't trust wrestling fans with anything related to love.
No, absolutely not. I would not wish that on my enemy, much less my friends. I'd probably wish it on my enemy. I don't care about them. But I would not wish that on my friends. That sounds awful. Absolutely
Having been around the people who talk in this space, there are very few people that I'd be like, yeah, I want you. I want you to be that person. When when Carlos Silva was on the My Mom's Basement interview, he was asked, would you ever take a bump? And he basically said, not right now, but never say never.
Yeah, he's mentioned that before.
To which I reply, what kind of bump? Because you are the head of a wrestling company trying to promote a pay-per-view. What kind of bump are we talking about, Carlos? Because it worked for one company.
I don't think he'll... I don't know. Maybe he will, go through a table or something. It's not necessary, though, right? Like, does that actually pop a rating in 2025? Does that actually get people interested in 2025?
Again, going back to TNA's wrestling, presidents and the people who worked TNA from a front-facing ownership role, they all took a bump, went through a table, got beat up. Yeah. They all did it. He's just going to be adding to the long lineage,
right? Like maybe he does, but does this mean anything?
Well, it worked when they did it for Dixie Carter. Remember when they spent months trying to build up the Bully Ray Dixie Carter table spot at Hammerstein? Yeah. Show you everything except the impact until they showed it to you on the show. And no, it didn't do anything for the ratings.
Yeah, I just don't think it means anything in 2025. I mean, when Tony did it, like, it got people talking, but then the follow-up was terrible. WWE actually smartly, like, Aldis will take an RKO. Pierce did that weird thing with Roman for like a week, but otherwise, like, they don't really get involved in anything. Ava got shoved by Carl Fredericks. That went nowhere until Shawn Michaels intervened. And they're smartly, the top 2, or the 1 and the 3, are smartly realizing, we don't need to, like, have our authority figures get beat up. It doesn't really do anything for anybody. So I don't think TNA might do it just because, hey, we're TNA and this is what we do. I don't think it means anything in 2025.
I don't either. It's just they go and they do it because it's in their history book. We got to do it for everyone. It's like a rite of passage. Everybody gets beat up and put through a table or some sort of hazing ritual. They bring back what's his face for that? James Storm. Eric Young should be the one to put everyone through a table. The sentient ghost. He knows who Hometown Man is. He knows. Someone asking about wrestlers on the roster. The Cedric thing. I continue to harp on this. I do not believe Cedric Alexander is signed. I do not know for sure, but they certainly haven't made a big deal that he is involved in TNA when normally they would if he had signed a deal. They'd be all over this. I think he's here for Slammiversary, maybe for the tapings afterwards, but I don't know for sure. I guess we'll find out after the show if they want to maybe wait until maybe if he beats Ali, then that's going to be the Cedric signed a deal. But if he loses to Ali, my feeling is he's not sticking around. I know he's put out posts about wanting to get booked for, I think, August and September. But my feeling is he did not sign. He's just doing an appearance, a PPA deal. Is anyone signed to TNA? Yes, there are some people signed to TNA. Can't tell you the deals are amazing, but they are certainly, they do make money based on their appearances in contracted events.
TNA has contracts, allegedly.
I mean, listen, talk to Trinity, talk to Nick Nemeth. They get the deals. They're the ones who get the Supermax deals. It was the Good Brothers. Now it's the Trinities and the Nick Nemeths and those people.
Get ready for the Good Brothers showing up at Slammiversary, and that's your phenomenal tease.
That's the phenomenal tease. I thought about that.
They bring back Hornswoggle Styles.
That would just be funny as hell.
It's a good bit, honestly. It's a good bit.
You know what they might do? They might actually do the Hornswoggle AJ Styles bit, but like actually have AJ show up this time. They might actually just do it. AJ Swoggle. I don't know, man. Do what you got to do it right. That's all.
I'm not holding my breath on an AJ Styles appearance. Like, I hope it happens. If you gotta kind of do it feels right now with the tease that you've done. But TNA has they've KY'd before. So
yeah, I was gonna say historically they've screwed those pooches right in your face.
Yeah.
Damn it, they'll do it again.
So my faith in TNA ain't that great right now. But given a WWE partnership, it feels like if you can get it done, this would be the time you can get it done. It's just gonna show up via satellite. Like, hey, AJ Styles here.
That's what I said.
He's got his readers on. You love when he's wearing those glasses.
That's the funniest shit. You cannot look me straight in the eye and tell me you get your glasses, old man. Give my glasses. Give my glasses. 1 second. Give my glasses. All right, I got my glasses, and so you can't tell me that's not high comedy. This whole build with Dominic has been high comedy. Him doing the prayer yesterday or on Monday night, that shit was so stupid but so perfect. Just like, why? Well, I think someone was like, "Why is he praying?" He's like, "Why isn't he? He's AJ Styles. Of course he's praying. The man's praying when he's not wrestling. Like, it's just his Twitch stream was him playing video games and talking about Jesus. Like, what do you expect?" Oh, get my glasses. Get my glasses. Oh, love it. The pray community. Yeah, AJ Styles is living on a prayer. That's exactly it.
It would actually be funny if it was just like old clips. Just like throughout the show, they just play old clips of AJ Styles. No reason or anything.
Best of Slammiversary. AJ Styles, best of Slammiversary.
Yeah, and then that's it. He never shows up. They never reference why they played the clips. They just show it. They're just like, we're going to go to this video package celebrating the history of Slammiversary. It's just an AJ clip. Later on, we're going to go to this video package celebrating the history of AJ clip. And that's it. They never explain why they just played 4 or 5 AJ Styles clips during the show.
Doesn't matter.
And then at the end of the show, Mike Santana wins or Trick Williams wins. Who cares? And the call off. Who's the announcer? Is it
Hannafin?
Hannafin, yeah. Couldn't think of his name. My apologies, Tom Hannafin. And Hannafin as like Trick or not AJ, but Trick or Mike Santana's like celebrating and the confetti's coming down and everything. Hannafin's like, we told you guys it was going to be a phenomenal show here at TNA Slamversary. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We will see you on Thursday. That's it. There's no AJ Styles appearance. It's just clips, and we told you we were going to have a phenomenal show.
You know, Styles has only won one singles match at Slammiversary.
No, I can't tell you what that was either.
He beat Kurt Angle in 2008. And it was like it was just a match. There was no title on the line. But like Angle beat Styles at Slammiversary 2013. Tag titles, AJ and Kurt. Wow, there's a lot of AJ and Kurt working together. AJ and Kurt defeat Daniels and Kazarian for the tag titles. That's Slammiversary the year before that, 2012. 2011, Bully Ray beats AJ Styles. Of course he does. The year before that, Jay Lethal beats AJ Styles in 2010. The year before that was the King of the Mountain, where Kurt Angle won the title from Mick Foley, Mimosa Joe, Jeff Jarrett, and AJ Styles. The year before that, AJ Styles defeats Kurt Angle. That was 2008. We talked about that. Another King of the Mountain match for the vacant title. Kurt Angle wins, beats AJ Styles, Chris Harris, Christian Cage, and Mimosa Joe. And then the tag titles in 2006, Styles and Daniels beat America's Most Wanted. And the year before that, for the world title, King of the Mountain, Raven beats Abyss King, AJ Styles, who was the champion going in, Monty Brown, Sean Waltman. So AJ Styles kind of sucked at Slammiversary is what I'm getting at.
That's what they're going to show. They're going to show highlights of all of his losses.
You really want to bring him back for this? Well, like, what about Bound for Glory? Like those were the good ones. He should come out and be like, y'all wanted me on this show? I was better on the other show. What? I was much better when I was playing Bound for Glory. I never lost there. He should just come out and be upset about that. Yeah, he won a lot more Bound for Glory than he did in Slammiversary. Like, it makes sense. That was like their SummerSlam, and then Bound for Glory was their Mania. So it was the big put over AJ Styles moments. Oh, silly wrestling shit. Oh, those matches were absolutely fantastic in a lot of those ways. Don't get me wrong.
They're all phenomenal.
They were all phenomenal. Ask Carlos Silva about that.
So they should, after every match, now I'm upping the bit. Hannafin should say, what a phenomenal match after every match. Doesn't matter if it's good or bad. Joel will love it anyway, especially that JC Jane Masha Slammiversary.
Oh, yeah. Best match.
Just be like, what a phenomenal match between these 3, 4, 5, 2, however many people are in the match. Let's go to a video package. And then it's an AJ Styles video. That's how they transition from match to match. They call it phenomenal. They do an AJ Styles video. And then Hannafin says the next match is going to be phenomenal as well. We got another phenomenal match coming up. Match takes place, good or bad, doesn't matter. What a phenomenal match. Let's go to a video package, AJ Styles video. We got another phenomenal match coming up. Just repeat until the end of the show. And then you get, what a phenomenal match. Thank you for joining us for this phenomenal pay-per-view. We'll see you on Thursday. That's it.
This is stupendous all over again.
They did not lie. They did not lie. It was a phenomenal show. It was a phenomenal show.
They got 5,000 people in the building. They're happy as they could be.
Yeah.
Phenomenal AJ Francis winning the tag titles. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
He's gonna win them with Casey Navarro. I'm all about it. Let's go. Should we do AEW Dynamite preview, or do we have anything else?
No, we can.
I don't think there was anything else from NXT that was worth talking about. Tony D won a match.
Yeah.
Right. Izzy Dame is still friends with Tatum Paxley. Got knocked the fuck out. AEW Dynamite live from the Aragon Ballroom in Chicago, Illinois. We're in Tony Khan's favorite hometown, the place where he will spend the next 3 weeks. 6 shows? Is it Collision 2? Yeah, 6 shows. Main event tonight is Hangman Page, Mark Briscoe, and Powerhouse Hobbs taking on the Death Riders, team of Moxley, Yuta, and Castagnoli. Hangman Page is opening the show tonight.
Good.
As he should. That was something that we did talk about on Monday. You did say if you want to bring it back, you bring back Hangman Page as the opener of the show. That's what they're doing. And Timeless Toni Storm will give a victory speech and no doubt be confronted by her next challenger, whoever that might be. Hopefully on the show, Tony Khan gives a little bit more direction to the Casino Gauntlet winners when those titles matches will come or how they will come. And we'll see what else they're going to do. But this looks like again, it's coming out of a pay-per-view. They usually don't have a lot going on a Dynamite to promote until 2 o'clock the day of, but that's what we have. We have a main event. We have 2 segments that are needed. How do you feel about this, having Moxley and Hangman in a match after they just beat the shit out of each other in a death match on Saturday, coming back to then work and not really, I don't want to call it like not selling the effects of the match, but to a certain degree it is. They're not They're not showing the effects by saying they're unavailable to compete.
See, I don't mind them having a match coming off of a pay-per-view, because not everything needs to be you lose the title, you lose at a pay-per-view, and now you need 8 months off like we see in WWE. I don't love that they're coming off a Texas death match and then having a match. If it was just a normal match and Hangman won, Moxley lost, and you want to do a trios match on the next Dynamite, that's fine. But Texas death match, you probably should. But they've done this in the past, though. That's the thing. Is I forget what show it was, but I was like, oh, I think it was like Ospreay. Like, Ospreay shouldn't wrestle on the next show. And then Ospreay just wrestled on the next show. This is just kind of standard fare for AEW, to where it's almost expected at this point that even though they went through this hellacious match, they're still gonna wrestle on the show. I don't have to like it, but it's kind of what they've told you that it can be done, and so they're gonna do it.
Chat's also pointing out it's a trios match. They don't have to be in the match very often. They could easily just sell it, and that's kind of what I hope they do. And I think Moxley and Hangman, for that record, are going to, when putting the match together, even say that, just be like, we don't need to be. We should be selling this. We should be selling the effects of the match. So don't tag us in every spot you got. Chances are they'll be the hot tag because it's your new world champion and your former world champion. So they'll probably do hot tag spots. But other than that, it should be Yuta and Castagnoli and Hobbs and Briscoe doing most of the work in the match.
Very curious how this plays out, because Hobbs, Hangman, and Briscoe doesn't make a lot of sense on paper.
I mean, I think this is just a vehicle to bring out MJF when it comes to Briscoe and Hangman.
That was my thought as well. Because, I mean, Hobbs, yeah, he was part of the trios match at All In, and he would want revenge for them taking out Samoa Joe. Briscoe's the weird one of, he was in the Casino Gauntlet. He has no real ties to any of this. So I guess the Anarchy in the arena spot, but then that's a Gabe Kidd thing, and I've given up on them doing a Briscoe and Gabe Kidd singles match. Kidd's in the G1 now, so that's another month gone. I just don't think we're ever going to get that singles match, unfortunately.
You will get Darby Allin versus Gabe Kidd at Forbidden Door, and you will like it. And then you'll get Blood and Guts in November or October, and you will like it.
I was hoping we would actually get the Gabe Kidd match against Mark Briscoe, and it just doesn't look like we are. I hope we will get the Mark Briscoe and MJF match. And we shall see if we do get that.
Yeah,
I hope we do.
Well, we'll see. That's all that's on the Dynamite listings for tonight. Of course, it is worth noting NXT did officially announce that Heatwave is going to be on the same evening as Forbidden Door. So Forbidden Door will air earlier in the day because they're in the UK, and then it'll be Heatwave that evening. I look forward to NXT No Mercy running the same night as AEW All Out, because that's just what it goes. That's the way they do it. Our pal Alex, Queen of the Ring, is here. Hello, how are you? Hope you're well. Hope you're feeling better. I saw that the outcome of your knee, or not your knee, sorry, of your ankle, is not as bad as originally expected. So that's good. I hope you heal up soon and quickly.
Yes, best wishes, Alex. I hope you're able to move around. I hope All In was still a fruitful weekend for you, despite the injury.
Get out of that boot and ready for SummerSlam.
Well, I don't know if you need to do that.
Well, I mean, she's going, so probably want to be able to move around and be there. So.
Going to New Jersey? That sounds awful.
I mean, that's awful at the best of times. I get it. I wouldn't go to New Jersey anytime soon.
Yeah, that sounds terrible. But best wishes, Good luck.
Yeah, good luck going to New Jersey. I hope you survive it, I guess.
Yeah, that's all you do in New Jersey. You just survive.
You leave. That's all you do. You show up and you leave. You're the Roman Reigns in New Jersey. Just show up, do what I'm contractually obligated to do, and leave.
Do we think the Death Riders take out Moxley tonight and we start a new kind of thing?
The Jack Riders?
I want it.
I mean, there was a time when Moxley and he went up to Jack Perry and was like, "You're a good kid."
Yeah.
So like maybe there is room to have Jack Perry involved there. I still think it's more likely he does something with Jack Perry does something with the Young Bucks now that the Bucks have nothing in terms of power, so they need something to go off of. I feel like that's one way to do it, but I don't know. Again, the idea is that Darby is going to take everything from the Death Riders, and he said starting with the title. So you have to assume there's more to it than just Darby appeared at All In and did the coffin drop spot. Like, there's got to be more to it than that. I've said it before. He can go through the Death Riders one by one to get to Blood and Guts. And that, to me, is like the end of the Death Riders.
All right.
Yeah. I just, my hope is that they're not about to run Page and Mox again for the world title. I would rather they kind of take a step back from that. But we'll see where it goes. Like I said, I think MJF will be instrumental in the finish, given that Briscoe's in the match and Hangman Page. And then the Death Riders will have to figure out whatever they're doing next.
I hope Jack Perry just comes out and he should align with Moxley, but then also take out Moxley. And then he should just hold up the AEW world title. He should just steal it. And he should be crowned the champion. That's what should happen.
I'm all right with it. Let's do
all
it.
Jack Perry all the time. We're jacking off over everybody.
We're here to jack off with Jack Perry. All right, let's get out of here. You ready? Seth Rollins is about to start talking.
Oh, he's already talking. I'm listening.
Is he saying anything of interest?
No, he's there. He's just kind of chatting with the boys who are also in the building. So
he's standing or sitting?
I'm listening to an audio feed, so I do not know if he is standing or sitting. I'm not watching the video feed.
Well, now I got to find the video. Is it on YouTube?
Oh, it's not on YouTube, unfortunately. I'm listening on Audacity.
Oh, Audacity.
Everybody. Yeah, Audacity.
Yeah, I don't see anything from the live section of the Rich Eisen show, so I guess they just do the clips. You talking about it?
No, he's talking about just being a host right now. I thought he was going to say...
Cowards.
It's on Roku channel.
I'm a Canadian. What do you think I get?
There's a lot of stuff on Roku channel.
I don't have a Roku TV.
Get on the Roku channel. NWA's on the Roku channel, I think.
Well, with that...
I have Roku channel, but I'm listening on Audacity. I don't feel like turning on my TV.
That'll be next. Anyway, are you ready to go then?
Oh.
Good.
He's saying he's going to do his best. Oh, Grace is going to turn on Roku. All right, hold on. We're going to get live reporting from Grace here on if Seth is standing or sitting. He's probably sitting because they always sit. Nobody stands.
Maybe they do a standing start and then they go to the commercial and they go to sit down.
No, that's McAfee.
He's sitting.
McAfee stands.
He's sitting. He's sitting. Yeah.
I would say he's always sitting.
Tweets. They're sitting. He's fine.
They always sit. Does he have a knee brace on? Anything?
I can't see it.
Oh.
He's sitting under that desk.
Okay. We should call in.
I told you to call in.
Do you think we can call in while we're on this show too?
I mean, I'd rather not.
Cowardly.
I want to go watch this conversation unfold.
We should call in and ask him, why won't Tony Khan get Jack Harlow for Blake Christian? Come on, Seth. Let us know.
Seth,
you got Tony Khan's number, right?
Seth, I just want to see something. Can you do something here? Can you do a thing? Can you stand up for me? This is an old group. Oh, I guess the breaking ground part is the big news. Sorry, we have the D'Amore group breaking ground on a massive $200 million commercial development story.
Oh.
And I was like, that was announced last year. But I guess the breaking ground part is new. I guess the securing of the development was last year's news.
Yeah.
But yes, I just saw that we got that. Like I said, Scott D'Amore was never hard up for money, folks. When he got fired from TNA, he was going to be just fine. And he's clearly just fine.
Jumped right back into wrestling like any
good
sane person would do.
Like any sicko.
Yeah.
Have we gotten anywhere in this conversation, or can we go?
I'm gonna have to listen and hopefully 20 minutes, Seth will actually say something of value about his knee.
You're on your own there, pal.
Yes.
All right. Well, in that case, anything to plug?
Never.
Perfect. Jeremy's back tomorrow with SB3 as per usual. They'll be running down Dynamite and probably not talking about anything else related to wrestling other than like the 20 minutes that they'll spend on it, because that's just what happens.
That sounds about right.
Just making sure. For Jeremy, you know who I am. You know who he is because I just said his name. Ladies, gentlemen, friends of me on the binary, get yourself a thumbs up on the way out, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.
Wait, he's talking about